The anime begins in the royal capital of Paluma, a world where demi-humans are slaves and the treatment of demi-humans is harsh. But only Banzo was the one who showed kindness to demi-humans and paid extra for their hard work. The demi-humans tried to return the money, knowing other humans would look down on Banzo for showing kindness to them. But his assistant Quinn told the guy to accept it since Banzo wouldn't back down. Banzo wanted equality for both humans and demi-humans, but suddenly his hands started to glow and with a flash of light, he vanished and was summoned to an unknown place. In the Kiro Kingdom, where Banzo was summoned as a hero candidate. Then a minister told him they were battling against the Dark Army, so they had to summon heroes from other worlds. He brought out a crystal to assess Banzo's powers, and all the hero candidates received divine blessings, powers beyond imagination. But Banzo didn't receive the blessing, and he was just an ordinary guy with level 1. So Banzo asked them to send him back home, but on his right side, a blonde guy got summoned with maxed out abilities. He was no doubt a hero, and everyone left Banzo alone and didn't pay any attention to him. So the gate got closed, and he was left alone with no one. And even the king was busy with the blonde guy while ignoring Banzo. He was on the balcony wishing to get back home, but the gate had just closed due to their negligence in ignoring Banzo, and their inability to send Banzo back was the failure of their nation. So the king decided to send Banzo up to the north of the Dava forest, where he would live out the rest of his life. They excommunicated him, but they were ordered not to talk with Banzo. So the days went by, and he arrived in the north after 20 days. The king had given him a magic bag with unlimited storage, but before leaving, the lizard warned him that a dark army lurks in this forest, so he must stay alert. With that, he left Banzo, and Banzo was relieved that the magic bag worked the same as in his world. He had many things for survival, but he brought out a shiny sword first. Some slimes came out, but they looked harmless. He was wrong, though. But with just a few hits, the blade reached its limit. Then a window showed Banzo had just leveled up, and his stats had no number in them. Banzo didn't know about this symbol, but it meant he gained an infinite cheat skill system. After that, his AI magic system warned him that his magic bag was enchanted with a monster-luring location tracking spell, which explains why those slimes attacked him. It was the king's doing. He wanted to kill Banzo by pulling these dirty tricks. So, the system suggested the removal of the spell, and Banzo agreed. Instead of getting angry, Banzo thought of exploring the woods, but the system warned him of the malice ahead. Malice here is a gaseous thing that comes out of demons, so the system wanted to purify the forest. Banzo told the system to go right ahead, and with a big surge of divine power, wait to see their reaction when they see Banzo. After a while, the level up notifications finally stopped at level 367, but he still doesn't get the symbol of infinity, so he told the system to hide such notifications from now on. So the system showed him the shape-shifting magic and turned him into a girl, but Banzo was proud of his gender, so he reverted back to his original form. Instead, he changed his looks and now he wanted to go to a town. The system suggested using teleportation magic, and with it, Banzo returned to the capital. But it clicked in his mind, so he commanded the system to teleport him to his world. But nothing happened. He's stuck here. So he explored the town and thought of joining the Merchant Guild, but without any identification, it would be difficult. So Banzo went to the Adventurers Guild to sign up. And there the receptionist gave him a briefing on the ranks of an adventurer. Banzo was fine with it, and gave a fake name to register. He started from the lowest rank of E, but there he saw a girl begging the adventurers to escort her to the north with a little money. She wanted to go to that forest, where rumors say the Dark Army has gathered, so no one accepted her request. So Banzo happily agreed to take her there with his teleportation magic, which shocked the whole room. Then the Night Lady Balasa came in to question Banzo. They thought Banzo was a slave trader, because teleportation magic is the rarest of rare magic that barely anyone in this world could cast. So, he agreed to show them the spell and took them outside to prove it. He cast the teleportation magic and took them all to the north in mere seconds. Shocked by this, their mage Bolano thought Banzo must be a great sorcerer of the highest order, but he told her he's just a regular guy. Then Balasa apologized to him for her rudeness. and the kid was surprised that all the malice from the woods was gone. Banzo warned him not to disclose his purification powers to a demon. The knights got on their guard because they heard a kid was lurking in the Adventurers Guild to escort her to Dava Forest, but whenever someone helped her, they vanished. After that, she showed her true colors at last. She was a demon of a high level and turned into a wolf. Just observe as her brother ordered, but now she wants to kill all of them. But Bonzo sent the girls back to the capital with teleportation magic and stayed behind to fight Fenri and their Fenri attacks, and Bonzo used a leap spell to avoid her. The second time, he blocked her attack with earth magic. Fenri couldn't even come near Bonza, and in the end, he used a gravity spell to stop her. Banza wanted to stop her without harming her, and the system suggested a subjugation spell that could manipulate the target and its thoughts. Banza didn't like it, and Fenri was trying to break free. The system kept nullifying her spells and kept suggesting to Banza to use subjugation, but if he did, the girl would practically become his slave. Banza didn't know what to do, but luckily, Fenri gave up and surrendered as she exhausted her magic. She was prepared for her death, but Banza took off his spell. He thought demons and humans weren't any different, so he didn't want to kill her. Fenri gave up and turned back, but she had no clothes. So Banza gave her a cloak and asked her not to fight humans and return home. He pulled out some clothes from his inventory, but Fenri passed out. She was just exhausted, so Banza set up a camp and was thinking about how others saw him when he mentioned the teleportation spell. There, Fenri woke up and saw Banza outside, so she came out wearing the clothes Banza gave her. She vowed to Banza that she wouldn't attack humans without any reason, wanting to repay him with her life. She was happy to be used as a slave as long as she could stay by his side. Banza didn't want to own people, so Fenri gave him puppy dog eyes to torture him, but Banza didn't give in. Fenri felt like she had no reason to live anymore, and that finally convinced Banza to let her follow him. At the royal castle, the maxed-out hero came back with a shameful defeat in his first fight, having lost the majority of his troops. The king asked him what happened, and the blonde hero blamed the knights, saying they lacked discipline. He claimed that when the monsters showed up, the soldiers panicked and broke formation, but he saved as many knights as he could, so the king should be grateful. In reality, he had been at the back during the fight, and when the monsters showed up, he was the first to run away, blaming the knights afterward. Despite his maxed out stats, the joke was that he hadn't learned any of his skills. His personal servant came out, and the blonde hero took her out to enjoy the money the king had given him. Meanwhile, Banza and Fenri arrived in town and wanted to get a job and a house. A shopkeeper called Fenri Madam, thinking that Banza and Fenri were married. They did look like that, and Fenri was totally on board because the women of her tribe wanted nothing more than a strong husband. Even if it was just pretending, Fenri was still over the moon because, in her tribe, couples eat a bone from the prey they hunted together to bond. But there was an urgent quest announced to kill psycho bears in the north, a task that even the hero had failed to complete. Banza thought to skip it since even the hero couldn't defeat them, but Fenri asked to handle them herself, reasoning that if she could beat them, it would prove Banza was more powerful than the bears. When they arrived at the site, they heard a cry and saw that the knights were surrounded by the bears. Banza used a thunder spell to cook the bears, and Fenri joined in as well. This batch of knights was saved by Banza again, and he introduced Fenri as his traveling companion. However, Fenri was upset because the bear didn't dare lay a hand on her, and it surrendered. Fenri had the idea to keep it as a pet. Others were scared because the terrifying bear was tamed by the two of them. They went to an inn and got to know each other better. The knights asked Banza to train them because, apparently, the hero was throwing a tantrum and refused to fight until the knights became stronger. The king had ordered the knights to get stronger to join the hero, and Barisa and her knight friend wanted to get stronger too. However, Banza wasn't sure because he depended on the system. Fenri didn't like the idea of having women around, but Banza told them he wanted to live comfortably with his wife to avoid them. Fenri changed her tune after hearing that and said it was fine for Banza to train them, so Banza agreed. Away from there, the demon general Yims reported to the Demon King that Frey's force near Delay Forest had been wiped out by a random person, which piqued the Demon Lord's interest. He ordered them to bring him the person, no matter what. And that's where episode 2 ends.